my community, and a bunch of you said you missed it. So I thought I would hop on here real quick and pull some colors to see what color might want to guide us and offer us a little bit of extra energy in this month, which is May already. Where does the time go? I feel like I say that every month, but honestly, this year has been flying by. So let's see what colors from my bag of little swatches from UU Yarns. I have all of the colors, although I hear there may be new on deck. So hopefully soon I'll be getting some new colors to add to this collection, which is very thoughtfully curated by Heather from UU Yarns. So let's see what color each sign of the zodiac is going to get. By the way, if you don't know already, I'm Katie from Light from Lantern. Design knitting patterns for magical makers and all sorts of other fun stuff coming up soon. So if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do so because there's going to be lots of new things on the horizon. So, okay, let's start, of course, with Aries and see what color will best support you this month. Oh, so this is Citrus Pop. I would say it's a electric yellow, which is one of my favorite colors in this bunch. I think like anytime I have a chance to use it, I do. I have a cute little tarot bag, I guess, that I knit from this color that I have free, actually, if you sign up for my newsletter at lightfromlantern.com/newsletter, you can get it for free. And it's just a great color. So for Aries, you are full of energy, and I feel like this month, this color is telling you that that's right on trend. So maybe you've been feeling like the winter blues or spring allergies or something. I think May is going to really boost your energy, boost your creative juices, and maybe you'll even have a creative thought out of nowhere. This is very like lightning strikes kind of a color. And also, don't be afraid to be bold. Get out there, maybe make some new crafting friends. If you've been kind of reclusing, this could be a good opportunity to go to your local yarn store or your crafting guild or whoever you have in your life that also enjoys the crafts that you like. Go ahead, be social. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Maybe inspiration will strike from them. All right, next up we have Taurus. Okay, I see there's a trend here. So this is Lemon Chiffon, which is a much more subtle yellow than the one before here. This one is a very spring color. I mean, I know we're kind of like edging out of spring and into summer, but maybe this is a good sign to sort of like ease your way into it. Another sign that like the sun is going to come out. So if things have been kind of meh up until now, May could also be where it turns around for you. Maybe even you're going to be having a new little person or addition to the family, whether that's a furry friend or a human friend. This could be also a sign that you may be making a project for a small person or being entering the world. So don't be surprised if you learn that you yourself or one of your friends perhaps is expecting a new little addition. Maybe this is your sign to take the month to make something for someone else as opposed to yourself. Let a little luxury pass on to them, especially if you have someone who appreciates handmade items. This is going to be a good time for you to pass that forward because it's just a buttery, smooth color. And so maybe that also means that May will be a little bit smoother if you've had a bit of a rough time up until now. Maybe I'm just projecting here. But I think this is going to be a delicious month for you too. So also if there's a little chance for an indulgence, Taurus, you know you like to do that. And I think that's okay in moderation, of course. All right, next up we have Gemini. For Gemini, we have black licorice. So black is a very great void color. So when there's no light or when there's so much light, you get the void color. The other one would be white. Black, this is like an opportunity for anything goes this month. Indulge in something maybe that you wouldn't normally. I mean, Who likes to typically craft with black yarn? I don't. Usually it's a loved one requested only type of thing. So maybe you're going to get a request this month from someone who wouldn't normally want one of your handmade items, in which case you could get a lot of return on that investment, I think, by indulging them, even if the color they pick is something that you wouldn't normally want to make. Luckily, going into May, hopefully there's going to be a lot more sun, so it's a lot easier to craft with these darker colors. But also, this is the month where you could choose to embrace any energy. Because black has the energy of all the colors wrapped into it, you can choose what you want to do. The only thing is you actually have to pick what that might be. So maybe you need a little bit of time to reflect on what you want to craft this month in order to make that happen. And I think if you do so, you'll get a lot of return on that investment, whether it's making something for someone else or making something for yourself. Maybe also in a difficult color. Maybe in a difficult stitch, maybe a difficult pattern. Don't be afraid to push yourself out of your comfort zone, because you might be surprised how much easier it is than you initially thought, which is always nice, right? Next up, we have Cancer. And for Cancer, we have one of my favorite colors in this bunch, also berry. You might see that I have a lot of berry in my various knitting patterns that use UU yarns. Berry is a really great color for May, since there's a lot of things that are blooming, fruiting, coming to fruition. This is a very friendly color. Again, this could be a great month, Cancer, for you to be crafting with those that share your interests, or your family members or your friends. Be more social this month seems to be kind of a recurring theme that I'm hearing. And don't be afraid to try some of the brighter colors. So maybe you're a Cancer who usually goes for the more somber tones. This could be a great invitation for you to try something a little bit more wild and see where that attention goes. Maybe it'll help you make a new friend who otherwise maybe wouldn't get the attention that you would normally have if you're knitting with like a beautiful beige or a quiet blue. You know, this is a really fun and poppy color. You may find that projects are being finished this month, so perhaps put your energy towards finishing a project. Again, this is a berry. This is a fruit color, right? Fruition, fruiting. So put that energy towards finishing. And I find when I'm crafting with others, I usually get more done because I am less likely to be scrolling on my phone or watching videos or being generally distracted. Having that collective crafting energy is like a super boost in getting things done. So make around others this month, and I bet you'll be surprised at the progress. And if you finish something, celebrate it, because finishing is actually the best part of crafting. A lot of people say it's starting, but I dare say it's the finishing. Okay, next up we have Leo. Ooh, for Leo, very fitting, we have the other void color. So this is vanilla, not exactly a white, but it could be read as a white. This is a little bit more of a natural color, I would say. So much like the black that Gemini had, you could be using this month to reflect on a lot of things that you have already been doing. Look at all of your projects in progress. Which ones of them could be finished rather quickly? Which ones of them are just burdening you and you don't even want to finish them? This could be a really great month to release projects. If you're like, that cardigan I started 4 years ago, not that I would know, I'm never going to finish it. I don't even like the colors anymore. The size doesn't fit right anymore. Just take it off of your mind. Rip it out. You can always start it in something else. Again, being a void color, you can use this color to represent any of the colors because they're all encompassed here. When things are so bright, it washes all the detail out. You can see right in my background here, like you can't see any of the details of the blinds or anything that's happening back there because it's a whitewash. So just like having no light, having all of the light loses definition. So you can choose what definition you want it to be. And oftentimes reflecting on what we have in the queue can release some of that mental energy and actually make some progress on projects you do want to work on and have finished. Maybe it's a cute little summer thing. Maybe it's a winter thing, because if we knit it all summer, even though it might be hot, we'll actually have to wear it in the fall, in the winter. Imagine that. All right, next up we have Virgo. And for Virgo, we have one of my other favorite colors that I use all the time, saffron. So this is a really great gold color. It is very rich. And so maybe for you, Virgo, this month, this color could be inviting you to think about the projects that you have in progress and see which ones of them will reflect the most satisfaction within you if you finish. Sometimes finishing a project will help you regain that energy in the craft, and then suddenly you're like, ooh, and I want to do this one, and I want to do this one. You could be going on a finishing spree. And if you're a Virgo who sells your craft items, perhaps this is alluding to the fact that you could be drawing in a lot of great customers to bring in the gold to your craft. So if you're finishing something or planning on attending an event this month where you're going to be wheeling and dealing your crafted items, make sure you have the mindset as you're finishing things, as you're packing things, that you're going to draw lots of prosperity, lots of amazing eyes who want to support your work. Make sure you're supporting yourself by putting it out there into the world that you have things for sale, and giving yourself a chance to really get the magnetic pull of this beautiful gold card. It's much like the sun card, where you almost can do no wrong. You just actually have to put yourself out there and seeing what you want it to be. So even if you're just making something for yourself, you can still have a lot of personal satisfaction, especially maybe if it's a gift, because those people will be very appreciative to the things you're making, which just makes us feel good about crafting in general, doesn't it? Virgos like to please in that kind of way. All right, next up we have Libra. And for Libra, we have wheat. So this is a very nice, chill kind of color. Wheat, again, is sort of a nice fruiting color. So maybe this also is a good month for you to see what kind of things you might want to finish. Or it could just be a sign to embrace the process of making. Not everything always has to be about starting something. Not everything always has to be about finishing something. Sometimes you can just do it because you like to do it, which really is the best way to be a crafter, because most of the time is spent doing the thing, not starting or finishing, but like the actual process of every stitch, and then the blocking, and then the seaming. And if you can enjoy the process of doing it all, the process becomes quicker, more enjoyable, more magical. You can stop and put extra intention into it. Maybe this is a good month to take a moment and see where you can add extra magical intention into projects that are either already in progress or something that you might need to get started. So take a moment to really reflect and see where you want your energy to go, and just enjoy the process. It's a much, much better way to craft, in my opinion, than just trying to be a product knitter. Be a process knitter this month, and see how that makes you feel, Libra. Next up, we have Scorpio. For Scorpio, we have soft sage. Ooh, another nice kind of chill color. Maybe this is a sign, Scorpio, that if you have the ability to craft outside this month, that could be a really great thing to do. So I know not every craft has the ability to take it outside, but let's say you are a spinner or you're a weaver and you have finishing work to do. Sometimes that kind of stuff can be taken outside after the bulk of the work is done to enjoy the air. Or maybe it's just like you finish things and you need to block them. Maybe put them outside to get some of that fresh air into it, you know? A lot of times when I think of May, I think of fresh cut grass and I mean, allergies, but like, if we're looking on the bright side, that's things that are growing and intention that could be put into your project just by being outside, getting that solar energy, getting that wind, all of that inspiration into you. And maybe take some notes while you're out there because, again, the wind, being out in nature can be very inspirational. Maybe you'll be out there and you'll think, oh, this is being blocked. But maybe I want to actually add, once it's dry, like a little hand embroidery piece to it. Or, oh, maybe I want to add a little bit of a little spell on the card of the gift that I'm going to give with this. You might be surprised at what little outside nature animals and beings want to pair with you on this project if you'll just go out and see who's available. I always know that I like going outside for this. We have a turtle outside right now who's laying eggs. So, I mean, again, green, turtle, eggs, all of the new stuff for spring, sprouting. There's a lot to be gleaned outside, even if you just spend 5 minutes doing it. Okay, next up we have Sagittarius for you. Aquamarine. Oh, this is a great color for communication. So let's say you're looking for project inspiration. Maybe ask around. Ask your knitting group or your crafting group or even just your friends who enjoy the same crafts as you. What are they working on? Do they need anything? Maybe this is a good time to learn a new skill. Aquamarine is very communication forward. So if you're looking for help on a project, this could be the month where that help is more readily available. A lot of the times, craft stores have more classes in the summer. It's a great way to escape the heat if you're like me and you're in Florida and it's 100 degrees here already. But it's also a great way to meet new like-minded friends. So maybe you're not even going to a group to craft, but you're just going to a coffee store to do the craft. And while you're there, you see someone else doing a fun craft, or they come up to you and are suddenly trying to be your friend because their significant other or grandmother or person in their family or a friend also does the same craft, and then suddenly you have something in common to talk about. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there this month to make new friends, glean new information, gain a new skill, because ultimately, even if the skill isn't something that you go forward with, maybe you're trying a brand new craft altogether, at least you'll know if you wanted to do it, keep doing it or not. That's very valuable. And a lot of times just having a minimal amount of another skill, like if you're a knitter and you just learn how to crochet a little bit, can offer a lot of options and inspiration on your original craft. So like suddenly you're picking up stitches with the crochet hook instead of the knitting needles, or doing a little cute border that was actually way easier to do crochet than knitting, or more possible because it's crochet than knitting. And you might not have even known that you could do that so easily if you just didn't at least give it a try. Even if you don't make a whole outfit or whatever from that, you could still glean a lot. So let inspiration flow and don't be afraid to put yourself out there this month. Okay, next we have Capricorn. Ooh, Capricorn. Cotton candy. Are you going to be going on a fun adventure? Is there going to be maybe a friend retreat or a friend you haven't seen for a long time, heard from for a long time, coming back into your life all of a sudden? I hope so. This is a very friendly color. And even though typically it might be associated with like, a little person or something coming into the world, of course, that could be. But I like to think of pink more as the color of friendship. So whether you are becoming friends with a new person, maybe it's a Sagittarius from the last time. It's that person in the coffee store doing the craft. Or you want to have a new little project coming up. This could be a great month to just calm down and become friends with your craft again. Maybe you've been on a crafting break and this is the month where it's coming back around. You've been busy all winter doing other things, school stuff, work things, and May suddenly is the time where, the craft that you saw as a friend comes back into your life, or you look at that project that was in time out for a long time because you were like, that skill, oh, it tripped me up, or I had to rip back a ton of times and I hate it. It could be your friend again this month. You might look at it now and be like, oh, well, this is so much easier. Why was I so worried about it? Or, I've had that time away. Now the perspective is much different. I've gained a little skill since then. And it could be a lot easier. So make sure you're going through works in progress, you're being inspired by your friends, and be on the lookout for crafting friends who may have been out of communication for a while, coming back into your life. It's always fun to welcome those folks back. Life happens. It happens to all of us. Give them some grace. Maybe you're that crafting friend that's been MIA for a while. I know I have been. So I'd be anxious to hear if anyone has any friends that come back. Let me know in the comments. Okay, next we have Aquarius. Ooh, and a very Aquarius color, we have Iris Blossom. Yes, Blossom. I always want to say Iris Bloom, but that doesn't make any sense. This is a very psychic color, I feel like. So this is going to be a good month for you to trust your intuition when it comes to your craft. And that could show up in a myriad of ways. Like I was knitting a few rows and really in a groove, and I kind of had a feeling that maybe I should look down and see what's going on with it. And you notice like you dropped a stitch several rows back or forgot to do a cable or something like that. This would be a good month for you to develop your crafter's intuition. I know I have ignored my crafter's intuition on many occasions, and what does that lead to? Usually ripping back, like way after I should have just trusted it. I could have done it a lot sooner. But that's part of the learning. So give yourself a little grace with that. But I think if you're paying attention this month, use May as the month of intentional crafting. You could find that you'll be able to recognize and categorize those feelings so that when they come up again later, you'll recognize them a lot sooner and you won't be going back like 3 inches. Maybe it'd just be like 3 rows, which would be great, right? Progress. Also, if you're wondering, what color should I make a thing? Or maybe you want to make your magical making more magical and you're not exactly sure what to do. Just sit with yourself for a little bit, light a candle, get a notebook out, and write what you want. Like, what projects am I working on? Why do I want to make them more magical? How could I do that? I bet you'll be surprised at how quickly you can think about like, oh, well, if I made it in this color or incorporated this color, or if I added, maybe after the fact, a little bit of embroidery, like a heart, Lots of things can be seen as sigils that are just symbols, but really what's the difference? Nothing much in my eyes. So just taking a minute to see how otherwise mundane things could be incorporated with more meaning if you just take a little time to think about it will be a great way for you to enhance your knitter's grimoire, if you will, and your journaling and your knitting crafting journey in general. So I'll be very curious to know what might pop up for you, Aquarius. All right, finally, we're going to wrap it up with Pisces. And for Pisces, we have, red velvet. Oh, yeah. This is a very passionate color. So again, maybe you haven't been feeling very passionate about your crafting hobby up until now. This could be the month where that turns around. Or maybe you're going to learn a brand new skill that makes you turn around and see it as like, ooh, this skill, this craft now is my new jam. So it could be as easy as falling in love with a new craft. So if this is a month that you've been considering trying something new, you could be falling in love with that craft. If you are a yarn enthusiast, it would be very handy if you were trying to do another one that could utilize all of those products that you already have. Maybe I'm just speaking from personal experience. But it is a lot of fun sometimes to think like, oh, all I needed was a little bit of extra skill and I can use this yarn in a whole new way. Maybe suddenly all of your stash is going to be going into like a big granny square Afghan or a scrappy little knit squares that end up going into a big Afghan, or like some tea towels or something like that. It doesn't have to be wool necessarily. A lot of people have like the sugar and cream sitting around from various projects, and there's lots of creative ways for you to incorporate little things to make bigger things. So even like, you know, doing one of those square Afghans where each one is a different skill. That could be a great way to build the skill, where in the end you have something really usable and fun. Or maybe this is just a great opportunity to go and be a patron of your favorite craft store. Now more than ever, they really need our help into showing up and being there. You know, Joann's is gone by the wayside, and I know through my many years of crafting, other big stores that I used to rely on, Hancock Fabric, I mean, I don't know if anybody remembers that, but that was actually my preferred fabric store over Joann's for a long time, and then they went away and it sucked. And even our local yarn stores, which have access to, you know, yarn has access to so many crafts, if we're not there to support them, they literally won't be there to support us. So if you have the opportunity, it could be a great month for really all of us to see how can we support them even a little bit, even if it's just showing up to say hi, to let them know that there's people out there in the community that are interested in the craft, to do our part so that they're still there for us when we need them. And it's really nice to get in an atmosphere of people who are into the same stuff you are. Again, even if they're two different crafts, you still have a lot in common. A lot of crafts use yarn. A lot of crafts can use knitting needles and crochet hooks, buttons, needles, threads. You know, there's lots of crossover. So really it's just up to us to be a little bit more creative, and in the process, gain a lot of friends, gain a lot of skill, and gain a lot more fun. So that's it. That is May for all of us. We have all of these beautiful colors for us to reflect on. If you have any thoughts or feelings on the color that you got, I sure hope that, I have, hold on, a comment here. Yes, so a comment about the yarn stores closing and the small ones staying open. I sure hope that they can stay open as well. Hopefully, this will be an opportunity for us to all come together and support them in their time of need, knowing that even the big boys, are maybe not doing so well. So sometimes it's easier for small stores to stay in business, but sometimes it's harder because, if you're used to a lower price point or a lot more items to shop for, they just don't have the ability to stock everything. But you know what? Creative constraint sometimes is good. So try not to be, limiting yourself. You never know what could happen. So, okay, now for real. Thank you so much all for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this live version of this energy reading, and I think this might be something that I'll do in this style going forward. So let me know your thoughts, and I hope you have a wonderful May, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.